Nintendo stuff. What's up, everybody? Nintendo Stuff Podcast Live, episode 62? Right?
Mm-hmm.
We can count.
Hi, Paul.
I'm back.
It's on the thumbnail right there.
Oh, it's far away, man.
Yeah, I'm not wearing my glasses, and I can see that.
I
And
have
you have your glasses.
I have awful eyesight.
Yeah, but you got your glasses. Are your glasses? Do you need to update your prescription?
I wouldn't be surprised. It's been
I
a
can
while.
see at 62 without my glasses, Brand. Come on.
I can't. If I squint, I can see it.
I stepped on my glasses the other day, and it's fixable. It's not like the worst thing ever, but now I need some tools
I've
that I
actually
currently
been,
don't have access to.
You can see this one's like bent down a little bit more than the other because I accidentally like sat down on it.
I know that
Yep.
feeling.
I've been putting off the eye doctor.
I'm looking forward to getting a job and being able to pay for things, including just buying like 3 or 4 pairs of like eyeglasses.
I mean, I have 2 pairs of prescription glasses, but one of them is a pair of sunglasses. So, I mean, I have a backup. It's just, you know, the world might get a little dark if I switch.
See, this is my only pair, so if anything happens to them, I'm just blind. So I want to get these fixed, and then I want to get a backup pair, or maybe 2.
Yeah, always at least 2 pairs, because you never know.
I couldn't afford that, even with insurance, the first time.
So, like, my strategy all these years is to like keep my previous prescription pair, and then just use those if I need to. Because like my eyesight doesn't change that much year over year. Mm-hmm. It has been getting worse steadily, but not by that much.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I've always been like I want to say like a -1 in both eyes, which isn't bad at all. Like, I can drive legally without my eyeglasses. But like ever so slightly, I've noticed that like my eyesight hasn't been quite as sharp. So I think it's time for me to hit up the eye doctor. Because I like to be able to see things and see things clearly. Like all these video games that I love to play.
Specifically Smash fans, because they always see clearly, don't they?
Absolutely. They always have good opinions. They're never wrong.
Never.
And yeah, there's never a moment in which they like abuse their privileges.
And most importantly of all, they love Fire Emblem.
Yes, absolutely. That's non-refutable fact. What a mess Smash Twitter has been ever since Byleth got revealed in Sakurai's presentation earlier this week.
Yeah, I think there is an acceptable reaction of, hey, like, this wasn't the character I was expecting. I'm not that excited for this character.
And he even said
it's
that.
It's not for me. Yeah, and I think, yeah, that's fine. I think there's even an acceptable reaction of making fun of the fact that, like, there are quite a few Fire Emblem characters in this game. That's fine.
There's enough to play 8-player Smash and for every person to have their own character.
That doesn't, though, excuse any sort of harassment towards the devs.
Or each other.
Or yeah, especially each other, because I mean that's where probably most of it is right now. Yeah, and so if you don't like Byleth and you don't like Fire Emblem and this isn't the character for you, and you are like, hey, I don't really care for this, but I'm okay with it, whatever, it's another character. If other people are happy, so be it, then great. You're not the problem. But for all those people who won't shut up about it and don't know how to play nice,
there are 6 more characters on the way.
And we already got 4 like really good ones.
You're allowed to be upset, but remember that this wasn't the last character to be dropped into Smash Brothers. Whatever you wanted that wasn't Fire Emblem still has a chance.
Yeah, the fact that we've already gotten like 6 characters post-launch.
Yeah.
Not to mention the handful that were revealed and given to us right out of the gate that were new to this game. And then the fact that we're getting 6 more, especially since this is Smash Bros. This isn't like some, hey, here's a fighter and we're throwing in another Goku. Which, there's going to be a lot of similarities. Like, these are characters that they spend time with and they're trying to make unique, and they're having to do a ton of work with. The fact that we're getting as many as we are is incredible to me.
Here's the thing with it being another Fire Emblem character. Yeah, we have a lot of Fire Emblem characters, a lot of Sword characters, but they have been getting progressively more and more unique. With Robin, you had a more magic-based character. Mm-hmm. With Corrin, you had a character that transforms. They're kind of going into those other types of heroes in the Fire Emblem universe. With Byleth especially, you have all the different weapon types kind of represented, except for, I think, Brawling, which is new.
Yeah, I mean, Byleth as a character essentially represents the weapon triangle that is not even present in Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Plus archers.
Plus archers, yeah. So he's a multifaceted character that covers a lot of the series history, and I don't think that should be ignored.
Yeah.
And, they also found a really cool way to get aspects of the 3 house leaders, who are arguably more popular characters, into Byleth, which I think is cool.
Well, I love the different costumes to represent them. That was just a small little detail that was just so nice.
And even threw in one for Sothis, which is cool.
Yeah, I will be Claude Byleth every single time I play this character.
I'm gonna be green hair Byleth.
I was actually talking with my fiance because we wanted to get the amiibos, and I mentioned I only want it if it comes with the green hair. I think I'm gonna be disappointed, but
maybe there'll be a green hair alternate.
I think in that case there needs to be, because for me the green hair after playing the game is more iconic than the blue.
Yeah. Which is cool because it's a kind of a transformative moment, because all the Fire Emblem heroes and main characters have traditionally had blue hair, so this is we're subverting your expectations.
Okay, now here's the thing that I want to push. Okay, did Corrin have a counter?
Yes. Corrin has a counter.
So is Byleth the only Fire Emblem character without a counter?
Did Robin? I don't think
Robin doesn't have one either.
Okay, Robin doesn't have a counter. So essentially the avatars don't have a counter.
Aside from Corrin.
Well, yeah.
They do know how to dodge.
They don't know how to dodge.
Oh, they don't. Yeah. You're right. Thank you.
So, I mean, at the very least, again, they are making these characters, different enough where, they're going to feel different. Obviously, there's going to be similarities, but, man, this might be, the most different other than Corrin.
Yeah, pretty much.
So...
Yes, he has a sword, but his sword's a whip, and it only carries a few of his attacks.
Yeah.
It's not the focus.
Right.
This actually, we've discussed this kind of character before, but more in the vein of Monster Hunter. Though we've also mentioned it for Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
This actually makes me really kind of want this type of character as a representative for Fire Emblem. Monster Hunter. I'm tired, guys. I'm sorry.
We know, with the DLC, one of their goals, and he talked about this in the presentation, is that each of the characters are going to have a really unique gameplay mechanic. So now that we have this for Byleth, I feel like Monster Hunter might go into a different direction and it's arguably more exciting to me that they might have to come up with an even more different way for. Now you're making me do it. A more different way for Monster Hunter to play.
Fire Emblem is the new Monster Hunter.
Right.
And that's given that like not Fire Emblem. Monster, you guys are rubbing off on me. That Monster Hunter is a character that's in the works because like they've already decided these 6 characters. Like these 6 characters are set in stone. We don't know who they are. Bless Sakurai for being like, only buy this if you're sure. Only order it. The 6 characters.
He did that the
beforehand.
first time too.
Yeah, he goes like. I mean, that being said, like all of them could come out and you could still buy them for the same price.
Yeah.
You know, or you could buy them individually. I don't know.
Which does cost more.
Ultimately, yeah,
Yeah.
but not that ultimately, not that much more. So I think like overall, I'm really excited for this character. I think my initial reaction, me and Brandon did the reaction video to the reveal of this
It was
character.
also like 8:30 in the morning.
It was 8:30 in the morning, and I think there was a lot of hype behind the prospect of specifically like Dante becoming a character, which I don't think is out of the cards.
No, I don't
definitely don't think it's out of the cards. But I think you made a good point, like to round out the Fighter's Pass, which was 4 out of 5 of those characters were third party.
Yes.
Like there was no first party characters until Byleth came around. And of all of the characters that they could have just thrown in there, another Fire Emblem character, man, there's so many options with Fire Emblem characters.
Well, and like Nintendo ending with one of their own characters, it's a multifaceted thing. Like it helps them value their own characters above those of third-party characters, which is to expect because it's a Nintendo game. But on top of that, like Byleth, I think is a less exciting choice for a majority of people. So you do that at the end,
To hype up the next pass.
and then you immediately announce the next 6, which is what happened.
Well, I also want to just I want to stop to appreciate just how amazing of a game Three Houses is. If I hadn't played it, I could understand being upset about it. But having played Three Houses, it's an amazing, amazing experience.
It is the best Fire Emblem game.
I'm more than okay to have it represented now.
You, Mr. Fire Emblem.
I'm a bad Fire Emblem fan. I genuinely, I'm looking right at the camera. I genuinely love
So
Fire
upset
Emblem.
with it.
Because
played
I
it?
talk all the
You're
time.
breaking my heart.
I've played it. I've played the first few hours, and it's even more funny because last night, I came down. You're playing some games, watching something, and I'm like, I'm trying to decide what to do. I can't decide if I want to play Monster Hunter or Isaac, and you're like, still haven't finished Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I'm like, that's a great idea. And what did I do when I got up to my room? I went to bed. This has been my last week. It's just been a ton of sleeping, I've been on this weird schedule because if you look at my shirt, I was at AGDQ. I want to address this just for a moment. This is actually a runner's
so
shirt. And so I'm we talk a lot about imposter syndrome. This is an imposter syndrome. I'm just a straight up imposter right now because I'm not a runner. But I went up to get my volunteer shirt and they just threw this one at me and I didn't realize until I got back to the room. And then I just didn't bother to go back. Also, I love this contrast. But I digress. It's been a weird week. I've slept a lot. And I keep getting so close to booting up Fire Emblem 3 Houses and playing more. Because the little bit I've played, I've enjoyed a ton. So eventually I'll get back to it.
9 days. That's enough time.
9 days, 9
Here's
days
what
for
you
what?
should do.
To play Three Houses before the drop.
It's just to beat it before the Byleth comes
Well,
out.
not only that, but you should do it before you start your job.
Also good points.
Oh, yeah.
Because, a run of Fire Emblem 3 Houses is roughly 60 hours.
Yeah.
For one of them.
I feel like the next couple would get a little bit quicker as you kind of figure out.
Yeah.
If I played it again, I could definitely cut down the time that I spent because I made a lot of spent a lot of time on little choices. On a side note, I wanted to just ask because I'm bad at math. How many characters are there going to be with the second pass? Does anyone know? So the next 6 included with the 5 or 6 we already got. What does that bring the roster up to?
80. I think it's a flat 90. Is what or maybe it was 87. It was up there, high 80s.
Are we considering Echo Fighters?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Echo Fighters are different enough to warrant it.
Yeah, that's really good. I've been trying to mulling that over. Like that's just impressive. Like poor Sakurai. Poor Sakurai needs a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really does, and it's so funny because like he in all of these presentations, like he always like slightly acknowledges the fact that he's working really hard all the time.
But that just like goes back to the point that like I get you're upset that it's a Fire Emblem character, but we have gotten more characters than we had any right to ever get.
Also, Banjo-Kazooie's in the game, who's been a requested fighter since Smash 64. Like, how can you be mad?
You have to be a special type of person to be mad.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, so, like, don't be mad at Sakurai. People call it the Sakurai bias, because obviously he is a fan of Fire Emblem. He's not afraid to talk about that. We even made a joke, because, like, he mentioned that he played Fire Emblem Three Houses early so that he could figure out Byleth. We made the joke that he just picks the characters so that he can play the games early.
He caught a whisper while he was developing, like, there's a new Fire Emblem game? Yeah, I'm... DLC, give game.
One of the things that I've seen people specifically upset about, and I can understand, is that Byleth got in when his game came out in July. Rex and Pyra didn't get in when their game came out in December of, like, 2 years prior. And the reason that Rex and Pyra didn't get in is because their game came out too late in development of Smash Ultimate.
They're still making characters, though. And granted,
Yeah.
it's still, uncertain who will make the next cut, but again,
I think the thing
not
with,
all
like-
hope is lost.
I think the thing with, like, Rex and Pyra is that would have been a Sakurai choice, but now we're dealing with Nintendo's choices, because they're not Sakurai's choices.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Nintendo gave him a pool of characters to choose from. They limited that down because, I mean, that's part of the business. You gotta have some characters that are really gonna be some showstoppers, and I can't imagine that Sakurai was upset with all the choices, considering, he got to choose Byleth, and some of these other characters are just, very iconic, and even, like, some characters that are, lesser known in the modern era, like Terry Bogard. It's not like Terry had much of a spotlight in the last few years.
Yeah, and, like, I had no idea who Terry was. I wasn't familiar with SNK fighting games at all, and the same thing with Hero and, like, Dragon Quest. Like, both of those franchises I became really closely attached to because I really loved the characters.
Yeah.
And I honestly would have never known about Sonic the Hedgehog if it wasn't for Smash Brothers.
I wouldn't have any idea who Mario is, let me tell you.
Yeah. So, I mean, this Fighter Pass was ultimately really Japan heavy in terms of the choices, which I think was definitely intentional because, I mean...
I wouldn't even say that so much about Fire Emblem anymore.
No, well, less about Fire Emblem, but when you look at, like, the actual choices from different regions of who, what does Japan want? What does the North America want? Byleth was, pretty high up on that Japanese list, right?
True.
But yeah, in terms of, like, promotional stuff, again, like Terry Bogard, Joker, we had the hero from Dragon Quest, like all that kind of stuff. So I wonder, like, and then Banjo was obviously the big Western, like, appeal.
And
character.
we shouldn't even, discount the 3 major U.S. North America wanted characters that we that we got added in the base game: Ridley, Dark Samus, and King K. Rool.
Yeah.
So, like, Sakurai is definitely playing the field for everybody. So, like, people who are accusing him of, catering to Japanese fans, which he should be doing. Let's just be honest. He's a Japanese man. It's a Japanese game. He's doing a good job, I think, of spreading the love.
He loves all of us equally. Let's not kid ourselves. Sakurai loves all his children.
We're all his kids. He's all of our dad.
I think there's also something to be said about giving us something that we didn't know we wanted. For example, Hero. Hero's a great character. Brandon, you were just gushing to me. I mean, not that you haven't gushed about Hero before, but you were gushing about, Dragon Quest, what is
11S.
Yeah, and how it might be one of your favorite games ever. And, I imagine that other people...
And I said that today.
Yeah, and I would imagine that there's other people who were turned on to that series just because Heroes is in Smash Bros.
So quick shout out to Twilord for the donation. Thank you so much. And Twilord's listed 6 of their choices. We have Laura, Vati, Agumon, Balder, not Akira, and Kamek. I'm familiar with a few of those.
I know Vati.
Yeah, Vati from Zelda I think would be a great choice because Zelda is severely underrepresented, if you ask me.
Yeah, villains and minions are something that I think we could definitely use some more.
Piranha Plant. Anyway,
Yes.
Agumon from Digimon. I think Digimon is an often overlooked franchise for Smash Brothers because it is a game franchise first.
Was it?
Technically, yes.
I'm surprised I didn't know that, but
It was like a Tamagotchi, pet sim first, but that's a video game.
you make points.
And the anime, Digimon Adventure, and the first Digimon World game came out simultaneously. So Agumon, if you ask me, should qualify as a possible addition to the series.
That would be interesting, especially if I've been, not that I follow Digimon too closely, but I think I'm aware that there might be a reboot series in the works.
There is. So they're rebooting Digimon Adventure and turning the original cast, I think, into 5-year-olds. And recounting their history with their introduction to Digimon, because you've seen the Digimon movie, right?
The new one or the
original one, or the American release of the original.
That's the one you had, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember sitting down and watching that with you.
Yeah, so it's 3 different movies that have been cut together. It's really bad.
Understatement, but okay.
But the opening movie is Tai and his little sister when they're just toddlers and they have their first experience with Digimon, and it's a really cool scene. And I feel like the show might
It hints
capture
at them
some of
kind
that.
of becoming like the Digi-Destined, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. Like all the kids who saw that event take place in the city became the Digi-Destined.
Digimon's really good.
I think
It's a side
Digimon
note.
would have a great possibility as a character choice because if you put Agumon out in the field, he could have a meter that would Digivolve him into Greymon and maybe even Metal Greymon beyond that, and that could be like a time thing like Arsene. I think that'd be cool, and he'd make him strong and he'd get bigger.
Also, wouldn't be a Pokemon.
Wouldn't be a Pokemon. But wouldn't it be cool
That's not
then?
like the Fire Emblem hater.
Because I don't think I can think of any other character where one of their traits is that they get bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there could be some potential with that. And we would finally have our fated battle between Pikachu and Agumon.
That I'd be into.
So thanks again for the donation. We haven't talked about Byleth's moveset a ton, but I do want to mention that the Heroes Relics are tied to the directions. So, I think up is the lance, or no, or is
I
it?
think it was Side.
Oh, you're right. Side is the lance, down is the hammer, or axe. What is up? What's the one I'm missing?
I think was up the sword.
Yeah,
I thought neutral
Up's just
was
a
at least
sword.
neutral B was the
Oh,
bow.
you're right.
Mm.
Yeah, so up is the sword, and then neutral is the bow. So, even neutral air, they'll swing the bow around, kind of like Pit's
No.
neutral
And
air.
then there's the isn't the neutral attack just the
Just the sword.
just the sword?
Yeah. But it's cool. He noted specifically the down B, the one where they charge the hammer and it swings out really far.
Mhm.
You can turn around while you're doing that. It has super armor, and you can duck through platforms while charging it. That's cool.
Also, you can destroy Captain Falcon with it.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, the fact that you get super armor with it is kind of, I guess, the replacement for having a counter. You're gonna tank that damage, but also oh man, that hit. I mean, that a fully charged axe hit, is gonna do so much damage and has so
And
much
wasn't it killing
knockback.
at 40%?
It
Yeah.
was, and it was killing from 0 if countered. So, Sakurai wasn't kidding when he said maybe don't use it against a character that can counter, because you're going to die.
Yeah, so I mean, it has that big spot where it's they're big risk, big reward.
Yeah. Then there's the bow, which I think has a really cool well, maybe not cool if you're using Byleth, but cool if you're going against Byleth, thing where you have to commit if you do the full charged light beam arrow. So you're sitting there for like a whole second, maybe a second and a half. It's a really powerful attack, but again, it can be reflected, and you're incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah, I like how there's those like 2 stages. It's not like say like Link's bow where you can like there's a bunch of in between of how far it's gonna go, how fast it's gonna go, how much damage it's gonna deal. Like there's literally just, okay, you charged it up to that first level, then you can release it, and you can cancel out of it. But if you go all the way, you can't cancel out of that. You have to commit to it.
Yeah. So like when you do that initial charge, you do have to do the whole charge if you want to fire the arrow, otherwise it won't fire, and then you can shield out of it if you want. You can turn around during the attack, which is nice. And the only thing that makes it different from pits besides the double charge is you can't fire up.
I think you mentioned it specifically, but it is going to be really fun in like a 4-person brawl.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best move one-on-one, but
if you're like, I can see this being really hype in like a grand finals set where someone's getting really cocky and they pull out the light beam arrow and they just happen to land it and get the win. Attacks like this are cool for moments like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to be really careful with it, of course. Find the right opportunity, because if you're up against somebody who knows what they're doing, that's a big opportunity for them.
I can't wait for it to be as annoying as the fishing pole.
Speaking of fishing pole and tether grabs, his up B, the sword turns into the whip, and if you attack an enemy with it, like he launches himself up to the character, footstools them, and then knocks them back down.
That's such a nice touch.
Yeah, that's gonna be a dirty attack.
It reminds me a lot of Zero Suit Samus's. I think it's the up B attack.
That's her heel kick.
No, whatever one that she like. Are we talking about the?
Is it the flip where she kicks down if she lands on them?
No, I'm thinking about the whip. Like, there's like that similarity between, I want to say, the up neutral attack, with Byleth, and then Zero Suit Samus's up whip.
Her up whip and his tilt up, I think, are the same attack.
Yeah, that was like, oh, wow, okay, they just transplanted that one. They might have different properties, though.
There are quite a few characters where the animation will just be the same as somebody else's. Like Cloud, I think several of his moves are borrowed. Sonic, I think several of his moves are borrowed. It's common.
Yeah.
The other things that come with Byleth are, of course, the music, which Three Houses has a wonderful soundtrack. I cannot wait to hear that main theme in a fight because it's super hype.
Oh yeah.
And then Garreg Mach Monastery, which I mean, obviously, it's an obvious choice for the stage.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that place so much after 60 hours of Fire Emblem.
I was like a little disappointed that it didn't stop in more places because like it's a really fun environment to run around in.
It is. It's very, very fun for the little that I've played.
And you can break stuff.
You can break the
just like in
tables.
Fire Emblem.
Wow, you can break the tables in the reception hall. You can break the chandeliers. There's already a video posted to Reddit of Setith in game, like, scolding Byleth for breaking the chandeliers in the Smash Brothers thing that she's doing. Whoever did the impression of Setith did a great job because it wasn't the actor. Really funny video. So yeah, I think Byleth's gonna be a great package. And moving on from Byleth, we do have 6 characters coming up.
We're also forgetting another character announced in that direct.
Cuphead. This is Sans 2.
This is like I love that Sakurai is doing this because he's giving attention and the necessarily like love to the indie developers and like the indie games. I love that they're representing. It might not be a full character, but I understand that a lot of time and effort goes into each of these characters. The fact that he's just giving them this nod in general is so incredible, and I love it so much.
Also, my understanding of that game is that it's not it's complex. I mean,
it's also a platform shooter.
Yeah,
and it goes over me Gunner.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect. It's literally just the hand.
Yeah, because like in the game, he points and bullets come out of his fingertips.
Yeah, so I think this is one. It's perfectly acceptable. I mean, even if that weren't the case, but like, you gotta imagine that like, okay, they've already chosen all these characters. Indie characters probably weren't high priority, but getting something like, oh yeah, here's a me gunner costume. That's huge.
Even a little bit better than just normal Mii costume. I was trying to explain this to my fiance. Like, you look at the other Mii fighter costumes, and you can tell that it's still a Mii under there. Where like Cuphead
it's just Cuphead.
Yeah.
And the same with Sans. I think Cuphead works a little bit less for me than Sans did, because Sans, like in Undertale, primarily just has that one expression, as to where like Cuphead is an incredibly like expressive game. So seeing Cuphead just have the one like smiley face bothers me a little bit, but other than that, like, it's fantastic. Also comes with a piece of the soundtrack, which is great.
That was the other thing I was gonna say. Is I love that they're also like releasing them with me. You can tell like that he's putting extra love into it when it comes with a soundtrack.
Yeah. You can tell he knows and that he realizes people care about these things. He's also probably just a fan. Because like he had Toby Fox over to his house. He drove him home. It sounds
adorable.
It sounds like there was even a personal experience with the Cuphead developers, and they were very grateful on Twitter for this to happen. And I don't think this is the end of this.
I hope not.
I think Shovel Knight's probably next.
We could also get a little Cave Story love.
Cave Story would be another easy one.
Cave Story would be big.
And that would be 3 Mii Gunner costumes that got really special treatment. You could do Swordsman for Shovel Knight, and there's probably a Brawler at some point that I'm just not thinking
Do a
of.
Fire Emblem Brawler. What's his face from Golden Deer?
Raphael.
Raphael.
Yeah, because he's not on the stage. I'm mad.
I'm surprised he didn't like rotate those. I'm not that mad, but like I'm surprised he didn't rotate the characters in each section out.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that, because like you compare that to the SNK stage, and the whole cast pretty much appears, and then in Fire Emblem it doesn't happen.
Everybody has a favorite student, and then if it's not one of the 3 that's there, they're gonna be upset.
My waifu got in.
That dude's there. I loved him so much.
And Hilda got in. She's my waifu. Lawrence is in there, which is a really funny choice because people hate Lawrence. But I think it could also be like an aspect of Sakurai having gotten the game early, and maybe he didn't have enough time to
meet all the students.
Maybe these are his personal favorites, or maybe personal favorites of the development team. Either way, like, I'm not upset. Byleth looks great. The stage looks great. The music's great. Cuphead's great. And we have 6 characters on the way. We haven't had a Nintendo Direct this year, like a main Nintendo Direct. And I have a feeling that in this very first one, we're going to get our first character announcement.
That would be dope.
It's not going to be long. Because they want to keep momentum up going throughout this next year. And
what better way to do that?
Yeah, and like there won't be another Nintendo Direct probably after that until E3. So that's a really long gap. I know that they're stretching this out over 2 years, according to the disclaimer at the bottom of the screen during the presentation, but that's still 3 characters a year. That's only 2 less than what we did this first time, not counting Piranha Plant. So, what's that, 4 months between characters at most?
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. If they're keeping it evenly paced and assuming they take until the end of 2021 to really sell the characters.
So, like, if you ask me, character 7 or 6, I've lost count.
I like where your head's at.
Character 6 will be out probably sometime in April.
That would be dope.
That's when Joker released last year.
I would take it.
So, I want one prediction from each of you. Who's it going to be?
Prediction? Like, do I have to go for what I think it'll be, or can I say what I just want?
Just say what you want.
Monster Hunter. I'm not going to stop asking for Monster Hunter until I get Monster Hunter.
It's got to happen, right?
I need it.
Like, there's...
Rathalos is there.
Rathalos is in the game.
If you can't slay Rathalos as actual Monster Hunter, what's the point in living?
Yeah. In addition to that, like, we have the Ancestral Step stage from the boss fight, which is clearly what the stage will be if he gets into the game. There's so much potential. You could have 4 costumes male, 4 costumes female. There's so many armors they can choose from.
So many like weapons and
yeah.
There's just so much content over all the years.
We've talked about like a stance change character, and that's what I think people want Dante to be. And now that Byleth has kind of filled this other role that we thought Monster Hunter might fill, maybe Monster Hunter could be a stance change character.
Let me ask you something more related to like the costume itself. My pick for armor would be Rathalos, but what?
That's going to be
is
the
there
main
another
one.
like iconic armor set that could like possibly be an alt to that?
Zinogre.
Zinogre, okay.
Zinogre is hugely popular. Though if I were to say one that I personally want, it would be the Ludroth armor, because it's really spongy and goofy looking. Barioth, I think, would also be another prime choice. They could either go with 8 different armors or have the male-female for each of the 4.
I'd be fine with that too.
Yeah. And that also means that they could change the weapons to that monster's weapons, too.
That would be really cool.
So that could also mean why this character hasn't come out yet.
It's just
so many models.
It's too much of a
Yeah.
tease to put Rathalos in, to have that like a little bit of a stage, and then not make Monster Hunter a character. It hurt me too much.
The Rathalos me costume and the Hunter me costume, they're not in the game. Neither is the Geno costume. I'm just going to throw that out there. So,
Don't hurt us like this, Sakurai.
Monster
Please
Hunter for
don't,
me
Dad.
as well. And then Logan, I'll throw it to you.
I really want to see Doom Marine.
I've heard Doom Guy, Doom Slayer, and Doom Marine.
They all
Yes.
work. They all work. They're all acceptable to me.
But does he have is one of those official?
I think like on an official level, it's the Doom Marine.
Okay.
But at least like in the lore of the game. But like, I think it really depends on who you're talking to. Are you talking to
He's just Doom.
That's what they're going to
the
call him.
corporations? Are you talking to the demons? You know, like that's really just gonna change.
It would be really funny though, like if his name is Doom Guy, and then when you win a fight with him, the announcer's like, "This game's winner is Doom Guy."
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like if they include it, because I think having played Doom 2016, having finished the original Doom, man, yeah. It could be similar to what's happening with Byleth, or what we think would be happening with a Monster Hunter character, except just different guns and different, thing. I mean, I think in a lot of ways it might be a really similar character to Snake, except with
If
more
we
guns.
don't get the BFG in Smash Brothers, I'll be disappointed.
It's the most iconic
Dude,
weapon in the series, right?
that will be his final smash.
Yeah, that's a
and
good call.
chainsaw. Need the chainsaw.
Chainsaw. Maybe,
Chainsaw would be a good melee attack.
I think like in tandem with using the BFG, he should open a portal to Hell, and like demons should show up. It's gonna be like really like big and bombastic. Also, the stage will be Hell.
I hope
Hell
so,
will be in
yeah.
Smash Brothers.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think.
What are they gonna call it? Heck.
Yeah. I mean, I think they could get away with calling it Hell.
They can. Yeah.
HFI.
No, that's a throwback.
So, yeah, I just think he'd be a great character. He's obviously got the legacy. I think there's a good move set. And I think we could always do with some grittier characters as well.
It's always a funny contrast in Smash Brothers. Like, I remember when Snake was first announced, and people were like, "But he's like a realistic character." And then he got added to the game, and like everybody fell in love with him.
I like when Isabel got added, and those two just became best friends.
In like internet canon. Yeah.
Who would Doom Guy's best friend be?
I'm
I'm thinking Pikachu, but he's already like Samus.
Samus is. I had Diddy Kong in mind, but he's kind of cool with Fox and Falco. Yeah, that's a good one. Who would it be?
I feel like Jigglypuff.
There it is.
Jigglypuff. Doom Guy just pals around with Jigglypuff.
the perfect converse or inverse to that.
And then of course I just want to see see Kirby with just the Doom
He's
Marine
just
helmet.
the helmet.
He's just the helmet.
But it's the toy version.
From
From
yeah,
from Doom 2016.
yeah.
Because like with Banjo Kazooie, in his backpack isn't a real Kazooie, it's a plush Kazooie.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd like that a lot.
I think these are all like, or both rather, like picks that are likely to happen. And I'm going to throw this out there right now. One of the 6 will be a Pokemon. You just have to accept that. It's going to happen.
It's gonna be. I don't even know the name of the Pokemon. It's gonna be the trash Pokemon.
Garbodor.
Yeah.
Not even from this new generation.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the big meme.
You know, I would actually kind of like it if he Pokemon Trainer like 2.0 with just this current gens
With the Galar region.
because it'd be hard to like pick just one of the mains or one of the starters. Though I'd really want Rillaboom.
I've been
I
thinking
want him to
about
just pull out
that.
his drum kit off his back just to attack.
I've seen this going two ways. It'll either be like a Pokemon trainer with the 3 starters, or it's going to be the new evolved form legendary bear Pokemon with his 2 fighting stances.
Ah, yes.
Because they could release him right at the same time as the second DLC pack.
Hear me out though. What if it's just Mustard? What if Mustard is playable in Smash Brothers? Not even a Pokemon, just Mustard.
Mustard. Well, then they'd have to add ketchup.
The alt.
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on from this, the one last thing I'll say, as either probably not a character, but I would like to see repped if they are already not in a significant way. It'd be amazing to see Donchan and Smash Bros.
Oh, from Taiko no Tatsujin?
Yeah, maybe I don't know what a
Assist
moveset would
trophy.
look like,
That
but
could be an
yeah,
assist
I
trophy,
think
yeah.
assist
At the very
trophy would
least.
work. Yeah,
Is that
assist
like,
trophy would work really well.
a me costume like head? Only the head?
Yeah.
I'd be down with that. Donchan is technically already in Smash Brothers, in Pac-Man's taunt. He has the taunt
He's
where
in Pac-Man's taunt?
yeah, where he throws his hand out and a different Namco sprite comes out. Donchan is one of them.
Oh, no way. I
Yeah.
didn't even realize that.
That
No.
doesn't mean he couldn't
Yeah.
be in another way.
But it hit me the other day because, I have played a lot of arcade games on a lot of arcade machines in the past few weeks. And one of them was playing Mario Kart Arcade GP.
Yep.
With Donchan as a character in that game.
Yes.
And then also talking about how we eventually just want to buy
A whole arcade
a whole
machine.
arcade machine.
Yeah. Well, too, like, the only Bandai Namco rep, the developer of Smash Ultimate, is Pac-Man. That's kind of mean. I feel like there needs to be at least 2.
Okay, I guess there's the question. The question then, what other Bandai character?
Aren't they responsible for the Tekken franchise?
Yes.
So if it were up to me, I would assume like it would be a Tekken character.
Yeah.
Hear me out though. Donchan and Smash playable with the taiko drum
with the drum
as your controller.
You know, if it's not something you can do in the game, someone will make it happen, and I'd love to see it.
I mean, we have tried using that controller in Smash.
Yeah.
You can't move, but you can
You can attack.
and jump.
Are you looking up a list of Bandai characters?
Oh, Dark Souls.
Yeah, Dark Souls is another big one.
Digimon would
Well, there
be
you
one.
go.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball. Goku. God
Doug.
Eater.
Oh, I'm ashamed. I mean Captain Ginyu.
Gundam. Katamari. That would be really dope.
Twilord just donated again and gave us a list of Bandai characters that they'd like to
Oh
see.
my gosh.
Agumon being one of them. Cosmos from Xenogears, which Xenoblade is from the same developer. Lloyd from the Tales of series. That's one who's been highly requested for a while.
Yeah.
Tekken, so we were right about that.
Yeah.
And Klonoa. How could I forget Klonoa?
Yeah. The other one that I'll mention here is Soul Calibur is a Bandai franchise. So if we can get like a real
Soul Calibur.
bro, if we can get a Soul Calibur rep,
How about
I will
Link?
flip.
Link and Smash Bros.
I don't
Darth
even-
Vader and Smash Bros.
There'd be so many like.
Who's the face of
options.
Soul Calibur?
Dude,
Me.
that's really a good question because
My mind goes to Mitsurugi, but I feel like that's wrong.
yeah, I guess somebody who like holds like the Soul Edge, like Nightmare, would be a really good one. Maybe like a heavier villain character.
True. Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, my personal favorite character in the game is Keelix, so that's my vote.
Dude, we could have Link from Soul Calibur 2.
Whoa!
No way.
What if he could, like, use bombs and fire arrows?
Bro, you're really on top of this.
Yeah. Though Klonoa, I think, would be a great choice because Klonoa's whole shtick, and it's a platformer character if you're not familiar with him.
Okay.
His whole shtick is that he grabs enemies and then he jumps. He holds them with his ears, by the way. And he jumps and then he throws them underneath himself and he jumps off of them. So his whole shtick is footstooling.
Please no.
Oh, here's another one. The Xeno series from Bandai Namco. We could get a Xeno, like the Xeno Saga games or the Xenoblades games. Maybe there's a character from one of those series.
Yeah, like Shulk or Cosmos. Who knows?
Oh, man.
Dream Drop Sora, or Santi rather, says if we want a character from Tekken and Soul Calibur, we could get Yoshimitsu.
Is he in both?
Apparently.
Okay. Yeah.
Sandman says Nightmare Yoshimitsu.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, and Twilord donated again and said, not ones I'd like to see strictly, but just flexing. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, I'm done with this bit.
I'm glad.
Man, you don't have another 20 minutes in you? Come on, man.
Yeah.
The last Bandai character I'll say is an Echo Fighter, and it's a really obvious one that I personally think just should have been in the game, and that's Ms. Pac-Man.
Yeah, that'd be really easy.
I mean, that could have been an alt costume. Just put a bow, some lipstick, and some eyelashes, and you have Ms. Pac-Man.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it for Smash Brothers for this week. I know it kind of, like, when Smash Brothers news comes out, like, that's all you ever want to talk about, right? Because, like, it's the biggest news in the gaming industry usually.
It's also a really easy, like, segue into, like, literally anything else Nintendo. Though this one is interesting because they didn't announce this in the US version of the presentation.
Oh, right. I forgot.
But there was some DLC announced for Fire Emblem.
Yeah, the fourth wave DLC, which we have known since the beginning was going to be the new story content. Turns out, as most of us predicted, it's an entirely new house in Fire Emblem 3 Houses. So now it's Fire Emblem.
Change the name.
Yeah, it's Fire Emblem 4 Houses now.
No, it's 3 houses plus 1. Or
3 plus 1 houses.
Yeah, I was going to say 3.0 plus 1.0 houses.
I don't know if one of you can click on that link.
I mean, not from where I'm at.
Or I can try.
Let me just...
Sorry, we're going mobile here. But yeah, so they've showed us 4 new characters. I believe the house leader is Yuri, who has short hair and wields a sword. But the whole thing is, like, all of these characters have apparently just been living underneath Garrick Mach Monastery.
I mean, who goes down to the basement anyway?
And nobody knows. So I have some questions about this.
Are they like zombie characters?
I'm sorry, Twilord, I can't get this link to open.
Yay for mobile apps.
But yeah, I have some questions about this. Is this going to be an entire route? Because they call it a side story. So do I still pick one of the other 3 houses, and then can I choose to have a part in this? And is it, like, does it permanently change the story? Is it just a side quest? I want to know, like, how influential this is to the overall plot. Because I will do a second playthrough of the game for this DLC. I've already decided that.
You're only just now deciding to do a second playthrough?
Well, I mean, I had before, but, like, you know, I wanted to take some time off. I'm always planning to go back.
It's probably more a question. I know one of my coworkers who, like, sat down and played all 3 of the different, like, routes. I want to know, like, how much of that story, because I know you get a slightly different perspective. You learn a little bit more every time you play through it.
Yeah.
I want to know what all you're going to learn with this playthrough. What it's going to, like, focus on.
Is it going to be about the shadows who hide in the dark or whatever they call themselves? I was getting the impression that it might be more about them because they're kind of... You face them in the Golden Deer route. I'll just say that.
Okay.
But you don't really learn much about them as characters. Like, I fought them and defeated them without really understanding the weight of what I was doing. But, you know, that could also just be a symptom of not having played every route in the game.
I think for my route, like, they were, like, tied into a dispute, but you don't really interact with them directly. or
Mhm.
it's kind of in a roundabout way where like the two parties are kind of using each other for the same goal.
Okay.
So maybe it does focus more on that, because that might be one of the few things that like, if do you feel like they can? You said they didn't really delve too deeply into like who they were, right?
Not in the Golden Deer, no. Despite like them being ultimately my enemy.
Well, they're the enemy, and you know nothing about them, so you gotta get context at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I know a little bit. I learned more about the church than I did about the villains.
That was one thing that I just never got.
Yeah, there's some stuff going on at the church, I'll tell you that. So yeah, I think it's cool. It looks great. I mean, Fire Emblem Three Houses, it's your game of the year 2019.
Oh, yeah.
It's second for me, just behind Dragon Quest 11, and you still need to play it. But despite that, like,
It'll be his game of 2020.
this, if you ask me, this was the best like first party release on Switch last
Animal
year.
Crossing.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
by far. And I remember being worried about this game leading up to launch because we weren't learning that much.
Yeah.
Then the game came out and blew my mind.
I think it's because of just how much there was to it that it's hard to represent just the massive amount of content there is in just
Yeah.
this one game.
There really is.
It's
like,
everything that like the Fire Emblem Fates games should have been, because that had the potential. I think Three Houses kind of tapped into that.
so like, and this is a common misconception with Fates, but like each one of the routes that you can buy, it's a full length Fire Emblem game, and they're all different. They were just charging you for all three of them, or in this case, you're getting 4, because there's actually 4 in the base game, 4 full routes in Fire Emblem Three Houses for just the one price.
Well, you have to pay for the DLC for the 4th one, but I mean, you're still getting.
Well, that's the
3 in
5th one.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there's one
Yeah.
one branches into 2. Ooh, spooky. I wonder which one it is. Yeah, so like I think this is a better model. It's obviously well more received, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they had help with Koei Tecmo.
Mhm.
Like Koei Tecmo was the primary developer on this game. It wasn't Intelligent Systems.
Okay.
So, for all intents and purposes, Intelligent Systems could be working on something else. And that's a great segue into my next topic. And that's that we have a prolific leaker, Sabi, I think, on Twitter. And I have my own issues with this, but we'll get to that. They're claiming 2 things. That a 2D Metroid is coming to Switch, which I think will happen regardless at any point sometime in the future. But more importantly, that we're getting a traditional Paper Mario on Switch. Like, back to basics, Paper Mario 1 and 2. I want to believe really bad, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, I mean, with any of these leaks, you know, we don't know if they're legitimate. It doesn't even matter so much if these leakers have been right before, because you just never know. We never know where these sources are coming from, or if they're just kind of grasping at straws. But yeah, I'm where you're at. Like, I want this to be true so bad. And I think there are probably some other things that would support this, even outside of this person leaking this kind of stuff.
Like Alpha Dream shutting down.
Yeah, like Alpha Dream shutting down. Like the fact that the last Paper Mario we got was in what year was that?
2016? I think it was It was either 2015 or 2016.
Yeah, and then like since then Nintendo has acknowledged like the desire to return to the basics of the Paper Mario series. Like that's been like really upsetting for a lot of people. Like you know, some people might like the last few games, but those people are wrong. And
There's a lot to like
be
about
dealt
Color
with.
Splash. I'll still say that.
Yeah, like ultimately though, like I want that classic formula.
Battle formula,
Yeah,
yeah.
like give me the turn-based battles with action, you know, inputs.
And partners.
Yes, partners.
And
why?
a plot.
I mean, all of this just makes sense. The Switch is kind of becoming the everything machine. Everything's there.
And also the return to form machine too, like with Zelda and 3D Mario, Pokemon in a roundabout way. Metroid Prime 4. Like this is a running theme.
Also, it's good to note that these aren't just return to forms. They're, exploring
They're evolutions of that.
Yeah, they're exploring what made the earlier games great, while still building upon them and advancing the formulas, which is really what we want. I don't just want, You
want the jump from Paper Mario to Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, but then I want 1,000-year door to 1,000,000-year door,
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So, yeah, and I have a lot of faith in Nintendo as a company when it comes to developing these titles and then really pushing the envelope, allowing the devs to just do what they want while also respecting, again, watching people play through the original Legend of Zelda, and you can go through that game in a myriad of ways, and then we get Breath of the Wild, where that game, you can literally go through that game in any way you want. There's an end point that you can get to, that you can go to pretty much from the beginning of the game, that most people aren't going to be good enough to do, but you can do it, and plenty of people have. That's why you can finish that game in, I think, less than half an hour.
It's a pretty
with all
short
the
time.
speedrunning strats. But then again, I can play through it twice and have over 200 hours in the game. So same thing with Super Mario Odyssey, while kind of making a callback to Super Mario 64 in particular, while still giving even more freedom and less stopgaps that are just unnecessary now.
And it has its own clear identity.
Absolutely.
So there's one thing that happened recently that kind of gets me off this scent a little bit, and that's that there was a trademark for Mario and Luigi registered in Argentina. I think it was also for mobile software, so that could be a mobile game.
I should say that I don't think the closure of Alpha Dream means the end of Mario and Luigi.
No, I don't either.
But again, trying to find the balance, but I think those games are similar enough, right? Well, they're different enough.
Mario and
They're
Luigi,
similar, certainly, but they have their own identities and they have their own mechanics that, even if they kind of mostly stayed as they were, I don't think anybody would complain. You're going to get a completely different experience. They have a different visual identity, different...
that right there is the only reason people have been kind of tired of Mario and Luigi, because they made Dream Team, which had a beautiful art style, and then they used it 4 times.
Yeah.
Actually, what your mama gave you,
So do you guys think this could be what we see in this early direct?
I mean, at this point, do we even really know what to expect for this next year? This is as good a guess as any, I'd say.
Yeah, all we have is Animal Crossing and Xenoblade, and we don't even know when Xenoblade's coming out.
Yeah, I think specifically with Intelligent Systems, we don't know what else they've been working on, because obviously they had a hand in the direction and the outcome of Three Houses.
But it wasn't their primary focus.
Yeah,
apparently.
so there's a huge chunk of that studio that was working on something else. Now, do I want to merely limit my imagination to say that they were only working on Paper Mario? Maybe they have a big enough team where they could be working on several projects at once.
Codename Steam 2.
Yeah. So it's really hard to
Return to
say
form.
what else they could be coming up with, because I primarily know them for Fire Emblem and for Paper Mario, and then also Advance Wars.
Could be.
So where's our Switch Wars? Because that would be an entry in a series that I would love to see, and maybe it's both. I don't know. We don't know. I don't know all the inner workings of how these studios are operating.
What was the last one? Battalion Wars?
On the Wii?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we're overdue in that department.
We're overdue for a lot of things.
Yeah, F-Zero.
Watch out.
Mother 3.
So yeah,
Chris.
it would make my
keep
heart
going.
so happy if there was a return to form with Paper Mario.
Yes.
Especially if they would stop doing the really, really generic, BS that they've pulled with the last few games.
They got away from the genericness with Color Splash, but we were still left with a half-baked battle system. Like, when you break it down, it was the Paper Mario battle system, but, you know, it was without any, like, meaningful reward for fighting. Like, there's no experience points, there's no leveling up. All of your attacks are expendable. They're just cards that you play rather than, like, having a baked moveset that you could customize.
That kind of kills the gamification of it.
Yeah.
The reward, like you said.
The only reward you get, really, and they did add, like, a paint, like, expansion thing that you could do in Color Splash, and that really didn't solve the problem. The only other reward you get is coins or cards, and the coins you use to buy cards. So, like, the biggest issue with Sticker Star and Color Splash is there's no incentive to fight at all. There's no reason to fight. Like, you are actively hurting yourself if you battle. So, you know, what's the point? I could get over the battle system, I think, in those two games, is if the reward and progression system, you know, actually worked.
Right. Yeah. I don't, you know, I can't speak so much of Color Splash, but, like, even talking about, like, you know, they got away from, like, the generic, and it may be, like, in terms of some of the storytelling and some of the humor, like, I definitely saw a lot of that.
There's a gun control joke in Color Splash.
That's good. But, like, when I think about, like, a generic, you know, from what I've seen, the world and the characters tend to be just a lot of Toads and a lot of, you know, Goombas, a lot of mainstays in the Mario universe,
I'm
right?
fine with them, but the problem is they're not wearing outfits.
Well, yeah. So, like, I'm fine with Toads, but, like, you know, I think about, again, Thousand Year Door and how many different Toads there were, and then outside of that, like, there weren't just, like, the mainstay of Mario
enemies.
characters.
There was, like, new races of characters.
Yeah,
too.
tons. And then, like, even, like, you know, funny remixes of old ones. They had, like, the Piantas.
Yeah. They became bouncers.
Yeah, there was, like, a whole, like, mafia, like, vibe going on, and that was a lot of fun. You had characters like Rock Hawk, which is...
He's the Mr. Satan of Paper Mario.
Yeah, so good. What a fantastic character. And then, like, have the X-Nauts ever been in another, like, Mario game?
Nope, that was the only one.
Yeah, like, I love that. Like, expand the Mario universe, you know? Give us, like, more things. But it's so funny because, like, playing that game, it never occurred to me that they weren't in any other game. They just felt at home in the Mario universe.
Yeah, that's something that team has always excelled at. And, you know, for one reason or another, people can blame Miyamoto if they want. We don't know the full story. You know, things changed with Sticker Star. But it's clear, like we've said, that Nintendo and that team are aware that that's not exactly what people are looking for. Or what they're doing is not what people are looking for. So, with this news, take it with a grain of salt. I don't even call it news. It's a rumor. Like, when this broke, like, I just kind of stood adjacent to it, kind of, like, not trying to look over that way and just, you know, like, keep my expectations in check because I don't want to build myself up for disappointment like I did with Color Splash, because that game did get leaked. Like, a week or two before the announcement came. And then the announcement came, and it was Sticker Star 2.
Yeah.
So, just tread carefully. Don't hurt your own feelings.
And that's just everything Nintendo related. Just wait. You can be kind of excited, but, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Just chill. You'll be
Byleth.
happier if you just don't expect anything.
Roll with the punches,
Exactly.
right? Yeah. We're all in it for fun. So what else do we have on the docket?
So there's a few smaller things that I'll mention. One, Nintendo has reconfirmed that there is more updates, more content for Mario Maker 2.
I would hope so. If they had said otherwise, I would have actually been upset.
Yeah, so that's good. It's nice to hear it. I still need to get that game myself, and there's a lot more 2D Mario that I would love to be playing. Something a little bit smaller, just kind of off kilter. There have been some official Pokemon ASMR.
I haven't watched them yet, but like the first one was a sleeping Charmander.
It's
sounds
I know
Yeah.
I know this because one, it's ASMR and it's fun. But then also like you get these wonderful visuals of like a sleeping Charmander. So that's worth your time. I found those ones on my NintendoNews.com, which is where we find most of these stories from. So you can look that up if you care. It probably won't be that far down, so just give it a
You
look.
can also probably go to the Pokemon Company's YouTube channel because I'm guessing that's where they're at.
Maybe I think these ones were specifically like Japanese videos. Not like it matters for ASMR, but matters for where they might be hosted. And a few other small things, some third-party stuff. The Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle Studio is recruiting 3D artists for work on a prestigious, this is what they said, a prestigious AAA title.
I have a lot of questions. I really hope it's another Nintendo franchise. I think that'd be cool because there's definitely some games that could use some love, especially if they're like full of fresh ideas and cool concepts like Kingdom Battle was.
Yeah.
Kingdom Battle.
Or maybe revisiting some other kind of lost franchises or titles that might be, you know. I was going to say F-Zero. But you never know, you know. It could be anything. So that being said, I don't really want to ruminate on it too much, but it's worth noting. And two things. One, absolutely confirmed. On February 28th, the Nintendo Switch is getting the Metro Redux games, which are games that I've been wanting to play for quite some time. I will say I'm not sure that if I ever play them, that I'll play them on Switch. They look like they function, and they look like they're games that will run well for what they are on Nintendo Switch. So for those wanting to play mobilely, or those who only have a Switch, these are pretty highly rated games that are coming to the Switch. Anything to pad out the library, I think it's great.
And speaking of which, there's another one that it's still rumored, right? Not a confirmation?
Yeah, this one has been rated for the Switch, which is the BioShock collection, which is another series that I would really want to play at some point. Again, like same deal. I've almost on several occasions purchased the collection for the PS4. But again, like give us more of these games, and then with the prospect of a potential Super Switch, a Switch Ultra, Switch Pro, whatever you want to call it, Switch Advanced. It would be very cool to see some of these games that do have a lot higher fidelity on other consoles. I would love to see them also get, you know, some love like The Witcher and Doom.
That's been my theory crafting all this time, is that they're getting all of these like big notable third-party games that are, you know, more realistic looking, that might take a little bit more horsepower, and as soon as they release that Switch Pro, they're going to use these games to model it. Because they're going to update them so that they look better.
Yeah, and they don't even have to look nearly as good, but as long as there's like if there's ever like, oh, I'm looking at it and I'm not looking at the other game, you would know, right? Because they're gonna hopefully be, you know, something like 1080p 60 fps, or even if they are 30 fps, that they're a lot sharper, they're a lot crisper, the textures are better, whatever it may be.
We got another donation from Twilord. You're spoiling us, by the way. They say Kingdom Battle equals Nintendo plus Ubi's KH.
Kingdom Hearts? That's what I...
Well, it's not Ubisoft. Suggest worlds.
I think it's like the
Well, it's
Kingdom
like
Hearts, like
their
the
Kingdom
mixture of,
Hearts.
like the two franchises together.
Oh.
The blending.
Oh, okay, I got you. Well, a Zelda world, obviously, would be, like, a big one. And you could kind of mix that. Like, it could be a mixed world between Zelda and Assassin's Creed. Because both of those games feature climbing.
Ooh, yeah.
They should
Oh,
do
man,
something
my-
with Star Fox again.
My mind is running wild now. Think about using, like, Nintendo and Ubisoft worlds and making, like, a Kingdom Hearts esque like experience.
That could be really awesome. You could throw. You mentioned Star Fox. We have Starlink, but what if you threw Star Fox into Beyond Good and Evil, which already features anthropomorphic animals flying spaceships?
It would work.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pig. We have a pig. He's a bad guy, but we have him.
Ubisoft also has Rayman.
Rayman, that's probably Mario, I would assume. Like Mario Rayman World.
Yep.
And this is assuming they're blended worlds, right?
Mhm.
Anything coming to you, Paul?
Not out of the gate, but there's a lot of franchises I think need love, and I'd love to see them hand them over to these other developers and just see what they can do. Because if they're not going to do anything themselves, you might as well give someone else a chance. Kid Icarus in anything, literally anything.
The results have been strong too thus far. Like Kingdom Battle was a runaway success, I'd say. Cadence of Hyrule is a pretty good game, and that was with an indie studio. And Zelda has already been teamed up with other third-party developers like Koei Tecmo, with Hyrule Warriors. So, there's a precedent for this, and it's exciting to see that it continues to evolve. And hopefully whatever this game is maybe a Nintendo crossover or just a Nintendo game. Or maybe it's a Nintendo Ubisoft collaboration on a brand new IP. We kind of got that with Starlink, and it kind of didn't work, but they tried.
There was
that game eventually just became.
There was an attempt. A Star Fox game.
Yeah.
That's the only reason people were buying it, was because it had a really good Star Fox collaboration.
Yeah.
I mean, I finally got my hands on it, and I hate to say that I got it not for the game, but for the R-Wing. I got it for the R-Wing.
The R-Wing's the
toy
best
is just
part.
So nice.
Yeah. Shout-outs to Joe Zija for voicing Fox McCloud. He's my dude.
Really? He voiced Fox in that game?
He's been the voice of Fox since Star Fox 64, or maybe Star Fox 0. He's the current voice of Fox McCloud.
I did not know that.
So, good old Joe Zija, and he's also Claude. So
that's how I know him.
He's all of my dad in one.
That's so good.
So yeah, I think that. Was there anything else?
No, that's it.
Yeah, that basically wraps up the show. Anything you guys been playing? Not Three Houses?
Kakarot.
Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Yeah, I really want to play that.
Later,
Yeah.
No, I mean for me, it's a lot of the same. I mean, it's a lot of Isaac, a lot of Isaac. I played some Smash earlier. Yeah, everything's just kind of. I feel like I'm on hold. Certainly, I have some other games that I should be playing. But
you're like in Animal Crossing stasis.
Dude, everything. My mind is just filled with thoughts of Animal Crossing. 60 days as of tomorrow till launch.
We're gonna count it down. We have to have that direct soon. We know basically nothing.
That being said, I will plug the Discord. If you are new to this stream, if you are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Join our Discord. You will find a link in the description below. We have our question of the day channel, which we try to use fairly frequently. And I asked a question in there today, so maybe that's how we can finish it up. If you guys know, who is your favorite Animal Crossing villager?
I've only ever had one town, so my mind of villagers is only limited to six people.
The last Animal Crossing game I played was for the Wii. And I don't remember it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Because I had to go back through and look through some of these villagers because I remember liking some of the penguins and some of the birds. But my dude, Puck the penguin.
I saw Puck's design when you posted it, and I was like, wow, Puck actually is pretty awesome.
He's pretty awesome. He's got a helmet on. He definitely plays hockey. That's the whole deal. That's his shtick. Also, his personality, lazy. It's everything I love about Animal Crossing.
I need a giraffe. I need a giraffe homie.
I think there's only one giraffe, and I think it's what's her name?
It's a girl giraffe.
But
Even better.
Not a villager.
She's
Gracie.
Yes.
Can we get a spin-off like Animal Crossing Dating Sim?
I mean, we got a happy
on the
home
way.
designer. I think they should just
Amoeba Festival.
give us. Oh my god. Just give us the game and then give us some like extra expansions onto that give us different experiences within the game.
Expansions like The Sims, but less money hungry.
Yeah, less maybe like a pack of like different what am I thinking, like occupations.
I wouldn't mind
Jobs.
that. That's something I've wanted in Animal Crossing for a long time.
Oh, you get to be a home designer. You get to be a clothes designer.
I want to be a chef,
and that stuff's
man.
like already in the game. So
I
yeah,
want to make flags.
that
There's
would
one
be
from
cool.
Community in particular that I really want.
So anyway, join our Discord. Hit like on the video. Hit subscribe. Is there anything else that we need to talk about?
Well, just the fact that we'll be back again next week, so make sure to join us for that. There will be some changes coming to the channel soon, and we will let you guys know what those are when we're ready to launch. It's been kind of a long-running project as we've been determining how we want to handle it, but won't be long. We started today working on that, so
It's like, hey, maybe we should like get going on that.
so we'll let you know what's going on with that, and yeah, we'll save that for the update video. So with all that in mind, guys, thank you so much for watching. Tell your friends about us. Listen to us on podcast sources. Any of the ones that you listen to, we're
Leave a
available on all of
review.
them. Yeah, please leave a review. It took us like a whole year to finally have a ranking on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
But we're 5 stars. Thank you so much. So again, with all that in mind, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't break your backs.
Break in the games.
Eat a salad.
Sure.